I try and smile in my email that I always look depressed in. Okay,
Are
I
you
think
home?
we're live. We're
Live.
live.
It says it's
Okay.
live.
All right. Welcome, Heather Paul. Thanks for coming on.
Hi.
Great to have you. Have you done a few of these Zoom things yet?
I've only done one community Zoom. Like, I mean, I'm on Zoom 7 times a day for work, but community wise, I've only done one other.
Oh, nice.
No. Might have to change my backdrop. It's gonna get boring, but for me, chili can never get boring.
No, you've got the best backdrop out of anyone, and I'm including my little tiger
I like your tigers.
there. All right. Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very
Yeah.
good. Busy week. Fascinating few months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Super weird times. And how's the cultural center been? Are you guys reopening soon? Or we get asked that all the time. Are we reopening? So
I know.
it's a
I
question.
know. It's like opening is possible
Mhm.
is was the answer for a long time, and then whether it's going to happen. We opened almost a month. We opened a month ago.
Mhm.
We did. So we've been going from Thursday to Sunday. We're relatively quiet, but it's really helped our staff just lean deeply into the cultural offerings. And the cafe is just pumping out some beautiful food if anyone wants to come. We have a patio now because of COVID. We opened up this entire patio section that we normally didn't use. So beautiful. We literally have I think the best cafe view in the valley, because I won't count Horseman or Horseman or Crystal. So I think we have the best cafe view in the valley down the road. And then members are starting to come back in, and community members should just be coming in and getting a membership and getting your discounts at retail and the cafe, and just becoming part of the truth and the reconciliation journey and discovering Squamish and Lil'wat culture. Which I do want to recognize that right now we're having this discussion on the traditional unceded shared territories of the Squamish and Lil'wat nations. And
Yes.
it's an honor
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
the territorial acknowledgement. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And also, I can definitely vouch for how good the food is at the cultural center. I've been to, I went to two winter feasts because one was not enough. And I've also sent so many people there because I was like, it's the best thing to do. And yeah, told everyone
Yeah,
about
it's that the diverse culinary offerings. This is a big piece of that because it's diverse, but it's actually the most traditional offering on this land and ground. Although we are selling now bannock donuts. So we're taking a little bit of First Nations bannock, which is actually a traditional Scottish dish, which is a whole history of that we can get into one day,
it.
with the Canadian donut
Oh,
and a
that
big
sounds
mash.
delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and do you have any recommendations for everybody out there watching from Heather Paul?
Recommendations for
Let's start.
books?
Sure, yeah. We can start with
Oh,
books.
um, I can do, you know what? One of the things that I found, I was so nervous coming onto this show because I used to read so much. And then all of a sudden, when stress hits my life, I'm so afraid to go into any book that will I'll be in there, the character's stress.
Yeah, it'll trigger you for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Oh,
And we've had lots of people on here who don't really read, so you can
yeah.
talk
Oh,
about
I do read. All right.
it.
I do read. I always, the last, one of my favorite books right now in conversations that are happening with social justice and racial justice. There's a couple of them. First Nations 101, which I got at the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Centre. That's a great book. I know that sounds like plugging, but it's really a great book. You might be a puddle on the ground a couple of times in this realization of, we hear about the stories, but when you hear about it firsthand, it can break a heart. White Fragility is a great book. Do you know that one by Robin DiAngelo? Really good book.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I've been eyeing it up. We definitely have it at the library too, so people can borrow it from there.
Yes, it's a good one. I think that you probably should just extend the reading, the loan time, but just double it for anyone reading it, because it's a very short book, but you need to put it down a couple of times and just live your life into a new view and then go back to it. Okay, I need more.
Yeah.
My favorite book when I was growing up was A Prayer for Owen Meany, and still is.
Oh
Do you know,
yeah, I've never
you know
read
that
that
book?
one.
Oh, John Irving. I could almost quote the first line. I'm doomed to remember a voice. I'm doomed to remember a voice that I will never forget. Not because he was the smallest person I knew, or because he saved the life of so many people around me, including myself, but I believe in God today because of Owen Meany. That's a very butchered example of the, but it is, and it's not a spiritual book. It's a novel. It's fiction. It's John Irving, typical John Irving, and it's fantastic. It really got me.
John Irving wrote The World According to Garp.
Yeah,
Did he? That's a book. I
yeah.
have it downstairs and I haven't read it yet. It's
That's
another
all.
one.
That's a really good. John Irving also really hit upon transgender early with that book, and it's also a great movie.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie either. I gotta
He
read
also
it.
wrote Hotel New Hampshire. It's
Yeah,
good. He's a good
nice.
one. And then I think I used to want to, always wanted to be super cool with the guys. So I'd read Tom Robbins a lot when I was growing up. Just,
He does he's like the inspirational coach, right?
no, that's Anthony Robbins. Tom Robbins is like a giant psychedelical trip.
Oh, right. I get them
Yeah.
all confused. Also, for some reason, with Henry Rollins, and maybe that's
Yes. Yeah. Harry, yeah. Tom Robbins and Hunter S. Thompson are probably close together. Yeah.
Oh
But I
gosh.
totally started reading him so my boyfriend would think I was cool. Little did I know, I already was cool. But you know, when
Yeah.
you're a teenager and you're just
Oh yeah.
constantly,
Yeah. Like I read like On the Road, which I enjoyed, but you know those books that were cool. Tom Wolfe and the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a
Those
good
two,
one. Yeah, that I love that book. And you know what I got my son for Christmas this year? Oh, sorry, Santa got. Oh gosh.
He's an avid watcher of this show, so it's out now.
Yeah. What? Actually, no, I got it for him. It was Calvin and Hobbes, The Essentials.
Nice.
Right. That, and I reread it, and I read it with him. I just remember how obsessed I was with Calvin and Hobbes on Saturday Post.
Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes is awesome, and it's still killing it at the library. People check out Calvin and Hobbes all the time.
Really? I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's why I bought it, because I couldn't get it at the library. So I went, that's it, Christmas present, done. And he still goes back and rereads it.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's also I think it's really cool. They've taken all the Harry Potter books and this artist has been painting them and like so you can buy they're massive and then so you can read them with your kids.
Really?
They're not all done yet. Like they take quite a while. The library has a few of them, but I think it's a really cool way to share the Harry Potter story because you can like read it together. I always thought that was really rad.
I cracked as a mom and he watched the movies. I think it was a really rainy few weeks.
That's fine because then Harry Potter is the kind of thing where you can totally you don't have to I don't think do them in order. There's some stuff where you if you watch the movie, that's it. You don't want to read the book, but it's not like Harry Potter is like a journey, whereas some stuff is just like there's a twist and then you know the twist and then that's it, you know?
Oh yeah, so you get, yeah. You know, they tried to do Prayer for Owen Meany as a movie. And I think it's one of the worst movies ever made. It's funny. And maybe it's just because my heart loved the movie so much, or the book so much. But I died. I wanted to leave the theater.
Oh no, it's never
the theaters.
Especially when it's your favorite, it's never as good. What about do you have any like favorite movies or TV shows?
I just during COVID, I was getting through my evenings watching Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Have you seen the show?
No.
Oh, my heart, like, I'm gonna just tell you, my heart is like in my throat just because of the show that's right here. So good. So good. And she's me, everything I wanted to be. She hears songs and musicals and contemporary music and dance scenes in her life. So her whole life will pause, and then a person and a group of people will start singing a song, and it's what they're thinking and what they're feeling, but it's translating into this whole show tune. and
Oh,
then
wow.
it goes back to normal. And it is, but it also is woven with some just tragedy of a father who can't speak, but he comes out singing and dancing when he's looking at her to try to tell her what he's thinking. So it is, at the end, I was a puddle, and it's having a season 2, thank goodness.
It would like, is it an adult show or is it like all family or what is it like?
No, I think it's family. There's
Mhm.
it's no it's not Fleabag. I also love Fleabag. Do not,
I love good bag. Yeah,
but
that's
it's good. It's a CTV show.
oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it's really great. And then Colt and I were watching together the Goldbergs, which I think is a ABC. Might also be a CTV show, and that's great. Just growing up in the '80s, and my son just, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly. That's what the Beastie Boys came out back then. He's obsessed with the Beastie Boys. So there's a whole episode on the Beastie Boys, and he really enjoyed
Oh,
that.
that's cool. One of my coworkers recommended love the Beastie Boys and recommended the Beastie Boys audiobook, like of their new massive book they wrote.
Oh, I have the massive book. There's an audiobook.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because we just kind of drop into it and drop out of it if we go on a drive because it's like if you read the book, it's like every chapter is kind of its own story. And
Yeah.
then all these different celebrities read each chapter. So it's like Rosie Perez reads one chapter and then like Steve Buscemi. It's like all these hilarious people that they've got reading the whole thing, which is nice.
I'm gonna
And
write
they,
that down.
yeah, the Beastie Boys audiobook. It's definitely worth the Audible credit or the holds list wait because it's so massive. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, the bit, well, we have it. It's about this thing. I mean, it has photos in it, like some fantastic iconic photos, but it's big.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, it's going to take me years at the rate that I'm going with it. So,
It's a coffee table book.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that book. My son, I bought it for my son for Christmas the year before. It's gonna take him some of the chapters he's not allowed reading.
How old is he?
He's 10.
He's 10. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Fun.
but he gets it. He gets it. Um, yeah, for TV shows, oh God, like a puddle with Zoe. I'd love to tell you I'm just so cerebral watching documentaries. I just withdraw from the intensity the last few months into just the fantasy. And I used to love watching documentaries and take me there movies. And I can't even watch the Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption anymore. No, it's not fair.
Yeah. Just keep it light. Keep it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
background stuff, that you don't have to pay too much attention to. I was having so much trouble. I love to read and I've been having trouble finding a good book as well.
Yeah.
Not a good book, just one that I can like page turn.
Yeah. Escape into. I
Mhm.
and I still, so I'll go back and reread. I love Dorothy Parker's work. Like just her little tiny she's like the original blogger in a way. Her little tiny essays. I love her work. She has one called The Telephone Call, which is for any young girl in angst waiting for him to call. Oh my God. Rip your heart out. Um, and Poe. I love Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. And it's funny because they all kind of relate him to Dark and the Raven and that. But his love poems are heart-wrenching.
Really, I haven't read much of his stuff. I actually read not that long ago. I read Emily of New Moon.
Oh yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good one.
I don't
That
know.
was when you were done Anna Green Gables. You went to Emily of New Moon.
Yeah, I was like, I've never read it, and I kept staring at it in the library. And one day I was like, all right, enough's enough. I loved it. That was
Good.
great.
Yeah. I know. I always wonder if I should reread Anne Frank one day, or not
Anne
Anne Frank.
Frank.
Anne
Anne
Frank,
Frank.
I do. Anne Frank was the one. My dad bought me Anne Frank's diary when I was 12 years old because we were born on the same day, and that I think that's what really started my view of the world in a different way. The unfathomable treatment of humans as being less than. I think that's really what started me looking at equality,
Yeah.
trying to bridge that juxtaposition of the joy and love I feel and safety I feel in life with what's going on in the world around us.
Yeah, wow. That's a for sure connection, like for a child to make as well. And
Yeah.
like, I think that at the library we have, I don't know if I'm correct saying this, but in graphic novel, like they've started to make
Really?
some classic stories. Like there's To Kill a Mockingbird in graphic novel, and there I'm pretty sure Anne Frank, but I don't know. I'm not 100% if I'm correct about that, but it's kind of an interesting thing too for because a lot of kids these days are super into graphic novels. So it's like, why not take some of these stories and shift them into a different medium that they'll enjoy more, you know?
That's a great idea. My son loves graphic novels, and we just got him off of it to read Wonder. And he's in the middle of reading Wonder.
Nice. That was a hugely popular one too.
I haven't read it. I'm purposely not reading it because if I read it, I'm going to be going, okay, so what you like, just intensely getting into him in book club world. And he's going to be like, well, leave me.
You're just sitting back, you're like, I'll let him enjoy it and then you can go for it.
Yeah, this is his. Totally.
Do you have anything else? Like, do you want to talk about the cultural center going on? So you've got the patio.
We've got the patio. We've got, like, honestly, there's so many things happening right now because we're such a versatile building. We have that huge, great hall, so you feel safe when you're in it. We actually have 4 acres of a forest walk. When you get I think it's at 11 and 3, they do forest walk tours too that come along with your admission. And admission's pretty decent. The most you'll pay is $20 if as an adult. There's family rates, but honestly, for anybody from Whistler, the membership is so much. It pays for itself. Everyone has always told me, and then I started there and really realized how much it was paying for itself, especially if you love the retail store.
Love the retail store.
We have an art exhibit starting, super cool. It's called Fatherland, and the First Peoples Cultural Council, Whistler Blackcomb Foundation, BC Arts Council, the province have helped make it happen. And it's a beautiful story. So this is a story that should be a book because, and the Lil'wat Nation lost their last master carver 10 years ago. And his son Redmond wants to be a carver. So he has been apprenticing there are fantastic carvers in Lil'wat Nation. This gentleman, who a lot of his pieces are in the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Centre. If you go and see those beautiful pieces, you'll see a lot of his work. And line form art's really important for the nations. You can see the difference in who they are and the story they're telling by the curve of the line. And welcome figures were like territorial markers so that you could go by on your canoe and you could see, oh, that's this nation and that's this family, because it was their language, was the welcome figures in the line form art, which is why you see Coast Salish is a very deep curved line, and Lil'wat is a very thin, intricate, detailed line, and that is their language. So for Redmond to apprentice, we were going to work with him to apprentice under Halakton or someone in the Coast Salish and Squamish Nation, and then walk through our doors was a gentleman from Washington called Ed Noisecat, and he's a very popular and famous master carver in Washington State in the U.S. And his father is Lil'wat.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah.
I'm getting like goosebumps.
I know, his father's Lil'wat. So if you see a truck with Washington license plates driving around Whistler in the next 2 months, he has done more than 14 days of isolations. The man has completely done his due diligence. He is Canadian. He is more than Canadian. This is his ancestral land. He's a Canadian card-carrying Canadian, has been here, lived here before. And these are his lands, and he's back. And what he's going to be doing is working on creating another giant welcome figure. If you walk into the SLCC, there's those giant forms. He's carving another one with Redmond.
Amazing.
So Redmond's going to learn under him, and it's called Fatherland. coming home.
Amazing.
And there's an exhibit with it. So he's also brought all of his pieces, and he's a really multimedia artist. He carves, he does those beautiful metal works that you see. He makes jewelry. He has, oh gosh, I'm coveting his rings because they're totems. He has these like rings, and they're all different totem cuts.
Oh, awesome.
Giant eagles, eagle beaks, etc. So I'm coveting that, but he's going, it opens on the 14th, the 13th. No, it opens on the 13th for the public. We're not having a big brouhaha, obviously, because of COVID, but walk through it and be with it, and then go outside, and right under the awnings and on the back mezzanine, Ed and Redmond are carving away at a new beginning.
I was going to say, are they carving? Because a lot of people, I've seen carving on site there just going on a lot. That's awesome that they're going to be doing it there.
Yeah,
wow,
they'll be doing it.
How crazy that you walked in.
I know. And Redmond's stoked, and the project, we've been able to get Redmond tools that he can keep forever while he creates. And Whistler Blackcomb Foundation helped make this, finish it up. We weren't going to be able to afford to do it, and Whistler Blackcomb Foundation is topping it up. We're still fundraising for a few more things. You could also always go to slcc.ca support and make donations for us for all of our projects. That one's a great one. And then on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, you can actually go out into the Great Hall deck. And not a lot of people know that we have a lot of outdoor space at the SLCC. There's a great deck, and Shudakam's working on regalia. So all of the traditional, basically a merging of Squamish and Lil'wat regalia into one for a performance group that the Resort Municipality of Whistler, Hong Kong Library, is supporting. So on Wednesdays, we had to cut hours from 7 days a week down to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days a week. And so what we're doing is on Wednesday, all the cultural team is still coming in, and they're writing and creating an entire performance piece, so that when you book and you work with the SLCC performance team and the cultural ambassadors, and they're called the SPOES performance team, you're not getting a welcome song and we're gone. You can book an entire story, and those Feast of the Nations, when they do come back, it's going to be true Squamish Lil'wat blood doing those performances and telling the story of the Thunderbird.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, and you can see Shudakam making the regalia right now if you go to the SLCC, and it's
definitely. I'm gonna drop by and check that out for sure.
Yeah,
that sounds great, Heather.
I'm sure there's a million things that I'm getting texted about to tell you guys about, and that I'm completely forgetting. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. Also, you can always just message them to me afterwards, and I have a list that I've got on the website that I keep updating. That's all the recommendations, so I can include anything there, including off your site and stuff too.
slcc.ca too will help all of that.
Yeah, I'll
sign up for the newsletter, and then you really get on it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thanks for coming on, Heather. That was so great.
Thank you so much, Kelly. This has been great. I'm going to keep tuning into your little conversations. Thanks for supporting the community and everything that we're trying to do here as safely as possible during COVID.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great talking to everybody. I'm just here, just a vessel. Everyone's been telling me all the awesome stuff they're doing, so it's been really great for me to learn.
Are you kidding? I just wrote down like 3 recommendations from you. You're not just listening.
Can't help it.
You're making a change, sister.
Great. Well, thanks, Heather.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.